Where the Force leads, I will follow.
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 Where I lead, they will follow.
Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Tales from the Table Studios. We are super excited to be back here with another episode of Path of the Fates. We have our wonderful Jedi with us today, and after last week's heavy episode, we've got a lot to get to, so let's not waste any time. Real quick, hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I'm the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios. You can find me here doing stuff. You can find me everywhere else at Drake Lionheart. It's Drake Lionheart on things. It's fine, doesn't matter. Twitter sucks. That's all for me. Stefan.
Yep. I'm Stefan. I am Umbral Knight on most of the socials. Now that everybody's making the mass exodus from the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can find me over on Blue Sky and occasionally over on Threads, doing all sorts of fun stuff. And got some few things cooking in the works, particularly some things coming up for Black History Month. So keep your eyes peeled for some announcements about those coming up here in the next few days.
Love that. Awesome. We're going to mix things up a little bit. LC. I think we're mixing things up. I could be wrong.
Hi. I will see. I'm Optimistics with 2 eyes. Somewhere you can see it. If I spell it, I don't think I can process it right now. I'm on.
It's in the chat. It's fine.
29 hours of being awake. Let's go. I'm Optimistics on all social media. I'm still exodusing, whatever, from Twitter. I don't know. I barely use social media. Anyways, I play Lumira Sol, and I had a vision of a hot guy, and that is what I remember from last time on Glee. Take it away, whoever's next.
Katelynn.
Hey, I'm Katelynn Kenny. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Newton here. Our little Jawa mystic. You can find me at KKENNEY, Kenny Plays. I am also, just like Elsie was saying, in the exodusing of Twitter, X, whatever. But I'm around, but I'm also not around on social media. But if I'm around, you'll find me there. Okay. That's enough from me. Goodbye.
This is the clown table is what it is. It's not the Jedi table. It's the clown table today.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, everybody. I'm Zach. You can find me on all the socials at Scheduled for Launch, minus Twitter. I haven't posted there in months. But Drake, to emphasize this, no, that was the standard rotation. We did not mix things up.
Well, I tried.
No, I thought that was a mix-up.
Oh, I went last again, so.
Curses.
Oh, I thought it was Stefan, you, me, then LC.
It's fine.
Sure.
It is what it is.
It doesn't matter.
We tried a thing.
Matter.
It worked. It failed. Who cares? It's fine.
I just want to say, for everybody who is exiting Twitter, if you want, you could always make your parting shot the picture that's floating around of Elon Musk done up as the first lady.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, if you're leaving anyway, why not?
I will just, I'm going to piggyback on that. I promise we'll get to the game in a minute, but I will piggyback on that and just point out that when you've got 2 massive egos, it can be fun to keep suggesting on public forums that one of them is the actual one in charge and the other's not, because what could possibly go wrong then? They won't see it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, if you'd like to see what all of these amazing people are up to, follow them, talk to them, say hi, you can also check out our Discord where they're all hanging out. We also have a channel with Meet the Cast where you can see all of the other cool stuff that they're involved in, all of their socials, anything else that you would like in order to be able to follow them and support them as you see fit. We've also got a great community of creatives and just kind, caring people, and especially in these times, community is so important, and we're always happy to have you. With that said, I think that's everything we have to go over, so that brings us to our game. When we last left off, our wonderful Jedi, I believe you had just come back together after a couple of interesting events. For Lumira, it was getting an experience that some might call out of this world. For Nu Tu, it was meeting a esteemed author, just galactically renowned author. And as we come back together, I think we will find the group of you already sort of in motion, having left the apartment complex, making your way towards, is it the bar? Are you making your way towards the bar for your date?
Yeah, I think so.
Exciting.
Cantina.
Yes.
With Lieutenant Vulcan. And as our camera sort of comes in and finds the group of you, actually, real quick, I will also point out, because I didn't point it out, I apologize. We have, for the first time, all of the destiny points as we start this episode are light. Every single one.
Yes.
I was wondering where it was.
So with that being the
We have
case,
them all.
the other thing that I'm going to say is that until that changes, and it may, you each will have the ability to roll an additional blue die when you make any check.
Nice.
Damn. Okay.
Enjoy that.
Take it.
The force is with you today. So, yes.
By using that boost die, the blue one, does it flip it back to dark side when we use it though?
Nope.
Bet. All right. Suckers!
If there's any consequence, we won't know about it until later.
You're so
I'm
right.
sure.
I mean,
That's
I
what
wasn't
I
going to
like
say
that.
it, but it's good that someone did. So as our cameras...
Will be bad later if we don't fuck around.
No. It's a gift. It's a gift from your unknown friends. So as our camera comes around and sort of finds you amidst the many faces walking through the street, what is it that we hear? Who is in the midst of speaking at this point? Or what do we find you doing?
I believe Padwan Soul has something to tell us.
I think they glance around a little bit apprehensively just by talking about both what they saw in a public place and also it just being what they saw being super, like, probably really disturbing for them. I don't think out-of-body experiences are something they've never had, but I don't think it's something that is common for them. And after a moment of, like, securing the area with just, like, vision, she starts to recount what she saw when she reached out and touched what she saw on the map they had been putting together with the paper. I can't really describe that. LC can't really describe that personally. I can't remember all of the details.
Sure.
But as we discussed prior to coming on screen, there was a hot dude behind me who said some whispery words. I was on a moon looking at a planet. This is like literally a recap of Glee. It makes no sense. And it's only the highlights. But Lion can probably help me here.
Yeah,
Sure.
I was gonna say, what were the important bits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot man, first of all. Like,
Sure.
jot-
Yeah.
jot
Hot
that
voice.
down.
Hot voice.
That
Hands.
person.
You were surrounded by sort of darkness and like dead, dying trees.
Right.
There was like thrumming and chanting noises around you. You could see off in the distance what you could somehow tell was Onderon. You're not sure how you knew, but you did. And that you were being beckoned to come to wherever this hot voice is.
Wood.
So Glee the Goth edition.
Yeah, Glee Goth edition. That's exactly
Yeah,
what it was. The other thing I will ask is, did y'all take all the papers with you when you left?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I believe we yes.
Excellent. Cool. Okay.
I think Glee Goth Edition just American Horror Story. It's also by Ryan Murphy.
That's a solid call. I have to think about those.
Don't know what to do with that information, but
You didn't know it was both
it.
Ryan Murphy?
No,
Oh yeah, right.
I couldn't
And
stand Glee.
and that new show Grotesque.
Oh yeah, and Scream Queens. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
So it's interesting to consider what this must mean.
On what account?
Just, it's an interesting vision. I must think on it. But not without some dinner.
I think Waycash looks at Lumira and kind of analyzes her for a second. Lumira, are these visions something that occur to you often, or no?
No. Not of this. I don't get visions often. Period. But this was the first time something like this has ever happened to me, especially not since joining the order. I have more questions on why nobody else saw what I saw, why nobody else had a vision when they touched the paper, put it together. Why was it me? And what does that mean? The vision itself has so many questions, but that alone, doesn't it bother you?
It's certainly different, but maybe the Force has something in store for you that the rest of us may not see with.
This might be your path.
It might be something long after you've separated with us. It might be a journey for you. And he pauses and he thinks on what he would say. And what he wants to say is who knows, maybe we'll be dead. But then he just stops and keeps walking. It's like there's something hanging in the air, I think, is what's left. He's almost lost in his own thought.
I don't think that's what they wanted to hear, and they
definitely didn't say we'll be dead. But
yeah, but even the rest of it, I don't think hearing any of that of maybe that's what you'll find out later at some point. I don't think they care much for the for lack of a better descriptor, wishy-washy, maybe it's your destiny, you'll find out kind of thing. And it's very much that's not an answer. That's a what if, play into fate's hand sort of thing. And I don't think it's an outwardly very expressed disappointment, but I think their shoulders kind of relax a little bit, but in the disappointed way, and more quiet and reserved, similar to the way you found them.
I wouldn't know. He's already turned away.
Yeah, that tracks.
I'm out.
I think
He's in his
Nu's
own
been just
head.
listening very quietly to all this. The two masters kind of giving their opinion on this vision, and thinking of her own visions, and wanting nothing more than to like compare notes, but is like still unsure. So I think she kind of hovers by Lumira, but continues walking to wherever our next destination is.
Veldin would be like, it's also very possible that you may have abilities with the Force that none of the rest of us have.
That is possible as well. As moment stands, and he like almost seems like a little bit vulnerable in this one. He's like, and Master Veldin can attest to this himself. My current Force abilities are highly underdeveloped. There is no shame in admitting your faults.
I don't see how it can be a fault if I wasn't even aware it was there to begin with, but fair.
I wouldn't think it's necessarily a fault. It's just maybe something you have yet to discover.
Lot of discovering to do recently, I guess, with me. That's fun.
Life is discovery. Now, shall we discover some dinner? And he's gonna turn.
Love that. So, you find yourselves by the nearby cantina. The name outside on the sign is The Moisture Farm.
No, take that one. Take that one back.
No,
it
you
back.
get to keep it. No, you get to keep it.
Can I have like a
It's gonna be
gift
called
receipt?
the midichlorian.
You can get a rain check.
Yeah. You can arrange that.
Okay. The mitochondria.
The midichlorian
So-
is the powerhouse of the Force.
Yeah, it's Powerhouse of the Force.
I
Amazing.
think I killed Lion for a
XP
second
for that. Give Zach XP for that one. That was a win.
I'll think about it. This
That was
is
good.
Y'all are a gift. I just want you to know that. I treasure all of you. So inside of the Moisture Farm, you see it's a sort of medium-sized establishment. There's a number of other clearly off-duty officers sort of sitting around. There was there's a sort of long bar top towards the center of this place that sort of circles around the center, creating sort of an island. Beyond that, there are a number of booths filled with all manner of different people, some who are immediately recognizable as locals, while others clearly stand out from the rest of the group. But it is clearly a sort of melting pot of people here on the planet. It's easy enough for you, Veldin, to spot off sort of in one of the booths to the side, Lieutenant Vulcan, just sort of sitting and sipping at his drink. He seems to be, once again, sort of scrolling on his data pad and just almost oblivious to the rest of the world around him.
Veldin is going to turn to the others and say, I think it might be a good idea for all of you to start discussing what we found so far and perhaps see what we might glean for that. And I will see if I can't get any more information that might be relevant. And he'll head over to the table, pull up, and kind of like as he's heading over there, he'll stop and like order a drink to have sent to the table, and head over there and just kind of pull up a chair and good evening.
So the Troydarian who's working the bar sort of like nods in your direction as you order the drink. Then you pull the chair over, place it down, and it isn't until you speak that he even realizes that you have entered his like atmosphere. And then the lieutenant sort of like glances over, fully prepared to like tell whoever it is to shove off, only to realize that it's you. And then you can see the smile sort of form and the eyes sort of rise a bit. Oh. Well, hello, Master Jedi. It's nice to see you again.
And you as well. So, tell me, what is it that's caused you to fall into your current profession?
Why would I want to be anything else? This planet has so much comings and goings. Someone has to protect it.
Interesting, yes. True enough. As Valden is talking, Valden is going to basically two things. One, try and steer the conversation to try and get any information related to specifically the case, but also in general, the try and get like kind of the overall disposition of the police force, like how you know, on the sliding scale of shitty to extra shitty.
Sure, yeah.
How shitty are they?
From like standard cop to like, no, we're cops because we love just having that power and being pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to get that sense, and then how that might influence the case. So that's one, and then also kind of using sense to kind of gauge the truthfulness of the responses.
Ooh, I love that. Okay. So first, if you're activating sense, we're going to need to roll those force dice.
Yes, absolutely. Gonna roll those force dice.
Very exciting.
Let me check one thing here. I want to see because I have.
Do you have the first level of control for sense that lets you sense their like current thoughts?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
I have actually. I have both of the first levels of control, and then I also have a magnitude increase. So
yes,
and a range increase. So I will roll some force dice here and see what we get. Oh, there we go.
Your force dice love you.
Yeah, they do.
Awesome. Okay, so that's easy enough. So it costs 1 to activate. It'll cost 1 for you to sense their like base thoughts.
Yep.
But you have 4, right? You have 4 light sides, so you're totally fine.
Yes.
Our non-Jedi persons seem nonplussed by this. It's great.
And I'll just go ahead and commit that 1 to kind of just sustain it throughout the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, not a problem at all. What I will ask is for you to then, you have a choice. You can either go ahead and roll for me a charm presence, or you could roll me a deception cunning, depending on how you think you are most approaching this conversation. Are you actively trying to sort of trick him into it, or are you just gently guiding him where you want him to be?
I think it's going to be more the charm route.
Excellent. And what I'll say is, you're going to get an additional boost die because you do have sense active, and you're able to sort of, feel and sense what it is that he's thinking and feeling.
Okay.
So you'll roll with 2 boost die, and I'm gonna
Nice.
give you a difficulty of 2 on this because
All
my
right.
personal opinion is 90% of the time cops are not particularly complex individuals.
Right. Okay. We will. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me do those, and I think yes. All right. Here we go. Let's see what we get.
Let's do it.
Whoo! So 4 successes and 4 advantage.
Amazing.
That's some shit. That's incredible.
Wild. Yeah, that's
Also, as previously stated, of course, the overarching goal, of course, all of this is to try and get him to kind of question the whole concept of policing and how that's gone about and all that sort of thing.
I love that. Yeah, for sure. So as the conversation goes on, it's clear at first that he tries to keep sort of steering it away. He doesn't seem to be interested in talking business. He really wants to, get to know you and find what the easiest way to get from here to his apartment is. But you have very little issue with sort of steering this conversation. With your ability to sort of feel what he's feeling and hear what he's thinking, it becomes clear very quickly that Lieutenant Amar Vulcan is self-obsessed would be probably a very polite way to put it. There's very little awareness that happens outside of himself. It's clear that he became a cop because it gave him power. It gives him the ability to kind of do whatever he wants, and he loves that. It empowers him. As a whole, it's tough because you do understand pretty well that you are seeing it from his perspective. But,
Right.
But from his perspective, it is a mandate of total power over the planet. It ensures that they have the ability to keep the peace, by which he, at least, means by exerting their power on anyone who they feel steps out of line.
Okay.
It's very much something that he holds very, very in very high regard. And he expects that everyone else does as well. I think it's very easy for you to tell as this conversation goes on that the lieutenant is a relatively small person internally who is really just trying to find any opportunity to feel bigger or important. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna use that as the conversation goes on to kind of put that little bug of doubt of does everybody feel that way? Kind of just to get that little bit of doubt going, and then also, like I said, to see if there's anything that they are holding back other than what we've found out so far that we know they're holding back. If there are any other things that are kind of might be related to this case that they're holding back.
For sure. Yeah. And I think this conversation goes on for a while. And one of the things that comes up is, he mentions at one point that it's so silly because so often he gets paired with the only people who don't he gets partnered up with the only people who don't really understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing here. He doesn't know how it happens every time, but so often he'll be going about his routes. He'll be doing the things he's got to do, and they just don't get what we're here for. They have no conception of what it is that we're supposed to be doing. They want to try and talk everything out, but you can't always talk to people. It just doesn't work that way. People, they take these actions because those are the actions they want to take, and we have to respond in kind. There's no room for that level of understanding or sympathy here. That puts people at risk. But somehow everyone that he gets partnered with just doesn't seem to get it. And he's very, very frustrated and passionate about this. And then at one point he brings up take the day before you arrived, when we were still dealing with this, and we hadn't become aware of the body yet. And earlier in the market, there was an incident, and of course they wanted to treat it like it was some major thing, but we all know what it was. It was more of the gutter trash trying to take each other on and make statements. That's not our problem. We don't need to get involved in that. Someone gets their tongue cut out, and that's we come in to what? Clean it up? That's not our
Tongue cut out,
job.
you say?
Yes, it's not the first time that something like that has happened in the markets. It's you have to understand. It's such a common occurrence for the Undercity to try and find their way in and make their problems everyone else's problems. People are just trying to do their business, but they're not allowed to.
In more of a kind of a wink wink, kind of nudge kind of not anyone important, I take it, who had their tongue cut out.
No, just one of the riffraff who likes to hang out in the markets and sell whatever garbage he happens to be peddling that day. He won't be peddling anything anymore, I'll tell you that.
Interesting. Wow. Well. Certainly we have other business we must attend to in light of this case, but perhaps when it's all done, we can meet again and have another conversation.
I'd like that. You seem like you understand it, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely, yes. But hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of your evening, but I need to check with my companions and make sure they're not getting into any trouble. But thank you for a wonderful evening. He's gonna kind of stand and kind of give a curt nod and kind of sidle back over to where everyone else is at.
Sure. So in the meantime, as that conversation is happening, I think we will shift our focus back over. What do we see at this other table? With the group of us.
Nu is very nervously patting everything and trying to watch that conversation, and then looking and being like, I can't tell if what's happening over there is about the thing. The thing. I know I wasn't clear before, but there was a thing on the belt that I felt a dark presence around, and I can't. I don't know how to get it, or if Master Valdin is going to get it. And I'm just watching and trying to make that point of being like, we need to get this.
And you still feel it sort of wafting off of him from across.
It's like a perfume, like a strange. Just I can smell the darkness emanating from it.
What do you mean? He kind of comes in a little bit quieter. He's pretty large now. He's almost talking. He's like, "Why didn't you say anything about this sooner to us?"
I did mention it when I finally mentioned that I was having these dark visions, but I realized I was probably unclear in the mentioning of all the things because there were many things. But yes, one of the things is that's why I wanted this lieutenant to be with us so that we could possibly question further, but also get the thing on the belt, which I unfortunately don't know what it is that's emanating this darkness, because I didn't want to I did not want to press my friend in the wrong direction.
Who?
Sorry, the Force.
Nu Tu, it was right. That's right. Nu Tu. Yeah, that's your
Yes.
name. Okay.
Yes.
You don't think that after we had that whole conversation just now about that crazy vision I had, that maybe that was super important and this is really weird?
Yes, it was very important, and actually I have more things to say about the vision and your vision, and we should compare notes. But I felt, to be honest, a little awkward about bringing it up in that moment, because it felt like a moment with you and the two masters, and I didn't want to interrupt that.
Okay. I think you and I, maybe one point or another, should work on consolidating facts
Mhm.
and being concise about relaying them. Because this is so important.
Yes, I agree.
And I also agree
Mhm.
we should get whatever that is.
Yes. And I'm nervous that usually Master Veldin can talk for a little while, but I don't know if we should get the thing, or if Master Veldin will get the thing.
Master Veldin won't get the thing because he's not aware of the thing he's to get.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Of course, you're right. So we have to get the thing.
Okay. And the thing is on him where?
On the belt.
On the belt.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's like stools lying, or are they like pullback chairs?
It's up to y'all if y'all are sitting on like stools in the chairs in a booth.
Is he at like a bar stool, or is he in a booth? Or
he's in a booth.
Better. So good.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
If I get close enough, I could gently ask my friend, the Force, to move the object from the belt. But I don't. I would hope to do that very carefully. But if I did not do that very carefully, that might be bad.
Yep. It would be bad if you did not do that very carefully. You're so correct. Do you think you can do that without being suspicious?
I am small, and so and it doesn't seem like he's very aware of his surroundings. So I could maybe just stand nearby and attempt this. But if anyone has any better plans, I am very open to them.
I would like to bring something up with both of you in this moment.
Yes.
We are here on direct accord by the Jedi Council to prove that we are not in collaboration with a murder.
Right.
Our newest member here, you, Lumira, are already not suspect, that's not the right word, but they're using you as justification to point it this way. Master Veldin had an incident when the saber was first found that's pointed the needle closer to us. Now I'll take a moment with you, because you're both Padawan, and ask you, what does it look like if two Padawan are caught stealing from an officer? Yes, Lumira.
That's like assuming that we get caught.
Yes, that is assuming that you're caught.
And we won't.
Yes, Newton.
It would be very bad. It would be very, very bad.
Gold star for you, Newton.
Thank you.
God damn it. Inner other character is very upset we did not get the gold star. No, I want the gold star. I never get the gold star.
If you
I
get
wanna be
10,
number
you get
one.
to choose something from the prize bin.
Yes.
Wait, how many gold stars before you get to choose something, though? Only
10.
one?
10?
10? New 10.
Yeah.
Hey.
New 10.
Okay.
Now, I am not one to pry. Typically like this. I will say that for the most part, I trust you to go to your own devices. But we are in a very sensitive position right now. Am I understood?
But
Yes, Master.
I want to counter this, if I may.
You may.
His eyes just grow.
Would it not be a greater deficit to us should we lose something that's very, very important, such as the thing that Newton is mentioning? If it goes along with the vision that I had, could that not be an indicator of a greater power beyond what we're dealing with that could lead us to something absolutely catastrophic? if we let it go, we could be missing a vital piece to this puzzle that we already had pieces missing from.
I think you see Wakesh kind of like straighten his back and like look down at you. And he says, "And a gold star for you. Do you feel that this is right, Newton?"
She will look back and forth between the two of them, and then turn back to Master Wei and go, "I do."
Okay. I will not be available. I will not be able to assist you in this one. I do not have the skills for such thing. You will have to act fast and probably only have one chance.
I'll turn to Lumira. If you have a better plan, I would happily hear it and enact it. I feel honestly a little unsteady myself. Like I haven't been making the right choices. So, but I know this is important.
I think that we can both use your friend as assets in this. If I just sway his thoughts a little and you use the force to move it from the belt, and then it's ours, and we walk away without him even noticing it's gone before it's too late.
Perfect. We go now? Should we now? Now's the time?
You only have a few minutes left.
Okay.
All right. Heist.
To clarify, are y'all heisting this while Valden is in
While
this
Valden
conversation?
is speaking.
Excellent.
Yes.
Awesome. Great.
Wakesh is going to remain at his seat.
Love it.
He's big. Like, he's very noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
He is not the tool for this project.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Okay. So tell me exactly what y'all would like to do.
I want to use influence to make him basically the Jedi mind trick of there is nothing on your belt, basically, of there never was anything on your belt.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have any of the upgrades on influence?
No.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
fine. So
one.
here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
You will need a white force point in order to do that, because that's what you use to create peace and tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
But you absolutely can do that. And then, Nu, what will you be doing after that?
I will be using the move force power to attempt to. So I have to be in short range because I don't have any extra in range on this ability. And then I'm going to attempt to move this item, which I would assume has a silhouette of Zero.
Yeah.
Off of the belt. Since I have a silhouette of Zero, I would assume.
Excellent.
This is just as
what
well.
is
Okay.
force? That is just
That's the white die.
Rating.
the white
Yes,
die.
your force rating, you roll that many white die. But before you do, Newton, even or odd?
No. I hate
Oh
this.
God. Odds.
Odds. Great. Okay. Cool. All right. So the booth behind them is full. So you will have to find a place to sort of situate yourself in the crowd of people that are kind of around the area. You won't be able to just sort of sidle in right up behind. It will make things slightly more difficult, but it's definitely still doable.
Who's kind of around?
So right now there's what looks to be like a couple hanging out in the booth behind them, sharing a drink and sharing a plate of some kind of like chip and meat based, almost like what you would imagine to be sort of like nachos, like bar type nachos. And then there's a number of other like uniformed but clearly off-duty MPs who are sort of like hanging out at the bar that curves around on that side. There's a few people who are standing around watching a screen that's got a number of different like pod race and like sabacc games that are being like shown that people are betting on. Yeah, and that's kind of what you've got going on in that immediate area.
I feel like the most natural place would just to be to join the watchers who are watching the pod race and just kind of like sidle up and act very invested while I am attempting this force trick.
For sure. Okay, so Lumira, let's start with you. I would like you to roll for me, and then assuming you get your your light side point, we'll talk about what it is that you are making him feel. You're muted.
You're so right. I'm so muted. Okay, so if I'm using the light side dice, do I get to add a dice to that, or?
Oh, the blue die.
No, because the blue die, you don't use the blue die for this. But I'll tell you that if you don't get any light side ones, you can always flip one of the light side points to the dark side in order to get one.
That's what I was gonna say. What if a silly goofy thing is just like we use like 3 light side points right now, just right now.
You want it?
So you use it in reaction.
Yeah, you should roll first because you don't have to use the dark side points. It's an option. It's what you can draw.
Hell yeah!
Let's go.
I think this
everybody
spells
can
bad
roll
things
force
for my
but
roll,
me.
but
love it.
I just want everybody to know you guys have seen Multiverse of Madness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. You know when Scarlet Witch is like whispering in the person's ear when they're fighting at the Sanctum Sanctorum?
Mm-hmm.
That's how Lumira does influence. It's just like whisper in the ear. You never had anything on your belt. It was never there to begin with.
Okay, so here's a question I have for you.
Yeah.
Do you have the range upgrades on it at all?
I don't have anything on this one.
Oh, so you do have to just sort of walk
Wait,
right up to this
what is short
conversation.
distance in this game? How many feet is that?
Like a couple of feet, like 3 to 5 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
like
probably
walk past like I'm going to the bar. Like
short range is probably like Qui-Gon to the Stormtrooper, right? Like
yeah, it's like it's literally like walking by like that.
Yeah, you can do that if you want. Oh, kidding. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Sure. So tell us what we see. Tell us how it goes down. Tell us what he is feeling.
Okay. I think that she would place a hand on Newton's like shoulder, just like reassuringly, not like super, like more like friendly, like big sister kind of vibes. And it's very, very like nonchalant and very, very brief. And then just fade into the crowd. Like this is something that she has done 1,000,002 times. No problem, no stress. Absolutely, probably the opposite of the way Newton is feeling. Like this is second nature for her. Absolutely just kind of like flows in between the people, and as she passes, what's this dude's name? I don't care. ACAB. This cop. It's just like a brush not touching along the shoulder, but just like, like a little movement of her fingers as she passes by. I don't even think she opens her mouth to say anything. If anything, it's a very brief whisper of there's nothing on your belt, there never was. And like almost like a flick of her hair and keeps walking. I don't think there's a moment of pause or hesitation in that movement at all. It's one fluid, graceful movement. And I think the voice that he hears is one that might have been familiar at a time, but he doesn't register it. Ooh. And all thoughts go like just like blank.
I love
it's just all like white noise for a second. And then everything is silent in his ears, like no bar sounds, no nothing. And then like in an instant, as soon as she's done speaking, the noise comes back and it's like he doesn't remember anything that happened before.
I love that. So Valden, you see Lumira sort of walk by, right? Y'all are doing this while he's engaged with Valden, right? So you see Lumira sort of walk by and do this. And then there's a moment where the lieutenant looks like he's very deep in thought, and his eyes sort of glaze over, and then he looks over at you, and he was like in the midst of complaining about one of his partners, And he looks over at you and he goes, "There's nothing on my belt. There never was."
Well, that's certainly an interesting story.
Nu, tell me what you will be doing. You're gonna be using move, right?
Yes, I am. As I'm
so
watching this this pod race, and like I think Nu has turned off her translator, and is just starting to speak like her native language as she's like watching this pod race. And then once she kind of sees Lumira go past, and I think before all this, when Lumira initially passed, and you kind of put that reassuring hand on Nu's shoulder, you may or may not have felt this, but she definitely locked up for a second of like touch, and being kind of surprised by that. And then I think kind of loosened as you left, but there's definitely this sense of like that doesn't happen to her often. And so then she's trying to kind of settle into this moment and call on her friend and just like take in the smells around her and try to just like get into that humming engine room state, to ask her friend kindly, sweetly, to help move this thing off this belt as gently as possible and bring it over to her.
I love that. So you're gonna need to do 2 rolls for me. The first roll is gonna be your force roll. So you'll roll your force rating worth of force dice.
Right. That is a 2 force dice, and okay.
Great.
2 light side, 1 dark.
So you have a choice. Would you like to use light or dark?
Gentleness. I will use the light side.
Huh. Didn't see that coming.
I know.
Okay, cool. And then you're going to roll me a stealth. You're going to have a difficulty of 2. You're going to add 1 boost die because all of the points are light side points. You're also going to add 1 boost die because of how Lumira has set you up. And then you're going to roll 1 setback die, that's the black one, because this is still a pretty conspicuous place for this.
Okay. So, for my stealth, I have no ranks in that, but I have 3 of the green dice I'm going to be putting toward that.
Excellent.
Because that is based in agility.
Nice.
So 1, 2, 3. And you said 2 boost
Yeah.
die? Or
So it'll be
boost
2
die?
boost die, so 2 blue.
Okay.
1
And then
black, that's the
1
setback.
black.
And then 2 purple, that's the difficulty.
Okay, great. Perfect. I've got them queued up. Let's go.
So excited.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Awesome.
1 success, 3 advantage.
Very nice.
Here's what I'm going to say. So you reach out to your friend, and your friend sort of takes your hand and guides you. And as you are being guided, you can feel the different objects on the lieutenant's belt. And as you sort of sweep your consciousness past each of them, you finally find the one. It is sour. It's like tasting spoiled milk almost. The way that it sort of immediately makes you recoil. There is this just sweet rot that sort of wafts off of it, and that you can smell kind of enveloping you and surrounding you. And you can carefully grasp at it, and you begin to guide it away. It's easy enough, it unclips, and as it begins to float to you, you recognize what you see passing under the legs of patrons walking by is a communicator. A small comm that is slowly coming across, and it lands squarely in your hand.
The second it hits my hand, I think Nu just goes, okay, and then like turns her translator back on.
Eyes
then
immediately on you.
Scrambles back to the table.
I love that. Yeah, you do that,
Beautiful.
and eyes are like on you, and then one person's just like, yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I said I'm hoping it lines up with a pod racer passing the finish line. But
100%.
I'm
You
so
have
excited.
three advantages. 100% it does. It's
Yeah.
perfectly timed. You do it. One other person celebrates, and they all just sort of like, yeah, just go off. There are drinks that are
Excellent.
being like smashed into each other. It's booze is flying everywhere. People are hyped. One person is sitting at the bar, clearly upset, and he just kind of like puts out a cigarette in his drink and like tosses credits on the bar, gets up and stomps out.
Let's go.
There
I will
it
use
is.
this. Yeah, I will use this ruckus to coolly, casually make my way back to where Master Wei is.
Absolutely, and you now have in your possession a communicator that or a comm that you can feel the dark side just wafting off of, just like residue.
Can I pocket those credits that he put on the bar?
You can roll me a stealth for it. Let's go.
But, all right.
Let's
all
go.
right.
I will give you an option here.
Okay.
Considering what you're doing,
Okay.
I will give you the option to use a boost die here. But if you roll any threat, I'm going to flip one of the light side points dark.
I don't want to use my boost. I want to
Okay, cool.
save it because what happens if we go off planet? I don't know. We're in space.
Nah,
Um,
respect.
Rolls a threat.
okay.
Wait, cash notices.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, am I adding a threat to this?
So you don't add a threat. It's just if at the end you have rolled and you still have a threat.
Left
yeah.
over as a result. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
this
gonna
is
put this at a let's say a difficulty 2. So it'll be
agility. It's 3.
Mhm.
So 3 yellow.
so let me look. You have stealth. You have 2
So
ranks
it's
in
3
stealth.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's 3 green, 2 yellow.
It'll
Do you have
be
any ranks in skullduggery?
Yes, but it's still 2.
Okay.
yeah. So you'll roll 2 green, 1 yellow.
Okay.
Right? Am I doing that right? Or do I have that backwards?
Do you have 2 ranks in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your what's your skill?
My agility is 3 and my cunning is 3. So it
Yeah,
wouldn't
yep,
matter.
that would be right then. Yep, two
Okay.
two yellows.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one green.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 yellows, 1 green.
And then you will roll. And then I also need you to roll 2 because the difficulty is going to be 2, so 2 purple.
Yep.
So it's
There it
still an
is.
advantage and it's
Ooh.
still a success. With an
Yeah.
advantage.
So
Right?
it's yeah, it would be 3 successes and 2 threat.
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or 4 successes and 2
4
threat.
successes
actually.
and 2 threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 successes and 2 threat. Okay. So you do manage to successfully swipe those treads off the table as you walk past, and I'm going to say that the barkeep doesn't notice. The Tridarian barkeep is focused somewhere else, and like just after you walk by, he like looks down and then he looks up and he goes, "Hey, you forgot to pay!" at whoever it was that had just walked out, and you see the glass go flying and like smash into the far wall. Wei, you do notice Lumira swiped these credits off the countertop.
Wait, cash will kind of stand up and like wave the other guy, and he will walk up and pay the credits.
Oh my god.
And the barkeep
Sitting down.
Great.
The barkeep kind of looks over at you and goes,
He may have had a rough day. What if he's one of the ones that lost? It's fine. I got it.
"As long as I get paid, it's not my problem." He like takes the credits and he tosses them away and goes on about what he's doing.
But he just sits down and looks at Lumira. Doesn't say anything. but just sits down.
It's your money.
Taking when there's no need for want.
I have a lot of wants.
You have a lot of desire, but not need. You're entering a new life.
Last I checked, just flashing that you're a Jedi doesn't get you very far anymore. You kind of need credits to get around. You just threw yours away over there, and that dude wasn't using his anymore, and he was on his way out. So, like,
And what of the barkeep? What of
this
all?
place is packed. Have you seen the drink prices?
Yep. And what
I
of
think
him?
he's fine.
There's an officer right there. Could have caused an
One I
issue,
just stole
but
from?
Yes, the one you just stole from. Maybe don't announce it so loud.
He's an idiot.
An idiot who abuses his power.
Yes.
An idiot with a weapon, more than willing to use it.
But he didn't see it.
No, but there could have been a stink. Now, on top of that as well, there's also the fact that when I say there is no need for want, the temple will provide for you. You understand that, right? I don't know your background, but you're not want for food or board. If there's something you want to do down the road, that's fine. But right now, you're covered.
That's true. But you can never be too careful.
Yes, Newton.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I feel like, given our conversation earlier, I should probably interrupt, but I have this, and it is reeking of the dark side. I'm gonna just like lightly hold the comms and like kind of like obscuring it while I'm holding it. I don't know if perhaps we can do any more sensing with this or what more we can see, but yes.
First. And I think what'll happen is Waycash will produce like a bit of fabric that's kind of like made so they don't need to touch exactly like dark side objects, just to wrap it up.
Sure.
And would you like me to carry this? I can't eat things for a second. Smell it. Or would you like to hold on to it?
I think New's eyes get like flare up a little bit because I think she was just assuming that one of the masters would be taking it. But she does default. She goes, whatever you think is best, Master Way, of course.
He wraps it up and puts it in his pocket, and he says, I believe I'd be harder to kill.
Fair point.
He looks to Lumira and says, we'll discuss this further later. Looks like Master Veldon's finishing up.
Yeah, Veldon, you can return to their table if you'd like, or if you're going to motion them out. What is it you would like to do?
Just gonna come back over, scan the table. New 10.
Yes, Master.
Nicely done.
Just pure cheese behind this mask.
That fellow was quite insufferable.
Yes, thank you for going through that ordeal in order for us to hopefully make some progress with this case.
Yes, perhaps we should do just that and head back to the ship and see what we would like to do next. On the way, you can tell me everything.
Of course. I think before we leave here, if it's quick, if they've got like just bar food on hand, then I would purchase some because I don't know if Master Veldon got to dine during that conversation or if
Excellent. Yeah, that's easy enough. You can pick up some quick eats. They've got a lot of different options available, most of which you're familiar with, I think. Nothing super out there or too strange. From what you've been like,
some of the
yeah,
some of the ones that I know Master Veldon likes, and I'll just grab some of that stuff.
Awesome. And I think as the group of you begin to make your way back to your ship, some of you in high spirits, some of you clearly in trouble and not earning any gold stars. But some may say credits are better than gold stars. Who knows? It's really up to you.
Gold
That's what
credits.
I'm saying. Gold credits. Some of us are more broke than usual, and some of us had a profit, and that's on that. Who's the real winner here?
So you make it to the shipyard, and before you get on your ship, you hear calling out, "Hold for a moment, please." And you see Captain Parganjap sort of jogging over to you. And he goes, "I had my men watching because I wanted to know when you were. I'm not sure if you were planning to leave without sending out an update or letting us know what you found, but I wanted to have a conversation very quickly. I promise not to take too much of your time. I recognize that my choices in engaging you were perhaps not ideal. Both for the three of you as you first arrived here, and then he turns and looks at you, Lumira, and how we made the choice to detain you. And I wanted to offer my apologies for that. I recognize that you are here to help. I hope you can understand that it is a frightening time for all of us. The stories of past threats make the idea of the Jedi taking violent action one that we collectively are not keen on. And it perhaps led to me acting out of sorts.
Captain, I'd like to thank you for offering the apology. I will not make comments on my Padawan's detainment. That is their choice to make. However, I will say that your fear is not unfound. There are stories. I would say that even when it comes to policing the security of a planet, things can change. I would like to think that we're just a couple steps ahead of you. We have work to do still too. As for the update, we will send it once we have compiled everything. It will be to you directly and as quickly as possible. We're just going over evidence and what we found. It is odd, though. You are correct. It's odd.
I appreciate that.
Indeed. As you well know, with great power comes a lot of paperwork.
Yes. Yes, it does. Paperwork I do not look forward to, but understand the need for.
But as my companion says, you are not wrong. we do not claim that the past of the Order is not marred by a great many things, but we are trying to change that image.
And the captain looks over at you, Lumira, and goes, I do not expect you to accept my apology. Just know that were you to return here at any point, your welcome would be very different.
I feel like our masters have said everything that needs to be said on the grounds of you are well within your right to be scared, and I accept your apology. It doesn't make it right. It's a start.
And
Thank you.
if at any point I or any of us can help in any way, please do let me know. I will do my best in keeping my bosses from applying too much pressure. Understandably, we need to figure something out soon.
What's that cop's name?
Which one?
This is
The
the
lieutenant
captain.
or
The
captain you're
lieutenant?
talking to?
The one from the bar.
Lieutenant
Oh.
Vulcan.
Yeah, Lieutenant Amar Vulcan.
Who's in charge? Is it this dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The captain.
Okay,
is
fire
just-
Vulcan. That's what you can do. Full forgiveness for me. Fire Vulcan.
What?
He's really mean to me.
I can look into it, and as long as there are other reports, I can certainly remove him.
Totally other reports.
I think Waycash holds for a second and says, I believe that the chances of an audit for that one will not be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
based on the reactions of some of your other security when he approaches. Watch their body language.
Indeed.
I will do exactly that. Thank you, Jedi.
Thank you, Captain.
For now, at least.
For now.
We'll see how that paperwork fares. And with that, he will leave the group of you. And as you board your ship, I think is where we will bring us to our break.
As Veldon turns to board the ship, he's just going to whisper to Lumira, "There's nothing on your belt. There never was." He's just gonna walk up the ramp into the ship.
Okay, important question. Does he also swipe back the credits that Lumira's?
Yes, he is going to use skullduggery to make a roll. What's the difficulty you're gonna say? Actually,
Wait,
yeah.
Is this contested?
Yeah, I think it would probably be
Yeah,
a contested roll against your vigilance.
Yes, 100%.
Is it vigilance or is it perception?
Vigilance.
Probably
You're not
vigilance.
I'm gonna say
perceiving it.
vigilance.
Because yeah,
Okay. Well,
So,
it's
yeah.
willpower, so that's
Detective.
4 green for me. I have no points in it. So I
yeah,
take
you would just roll your 4 green,
Yeah.
All right.
and then I would just roll my.
All right.
I'm so happy.
That's a lot of advantage.
You got a lot of advantage, but no
Mhm.
successes. And I got all
All
successes.
So you just see him he leans in, he whispers that to you and walks by, and you see him just sort of toss the credits up and catch them.
What do I get in return? What benefit do I lose?
You have learned that Jedi
Advantage
Master has very, very skilled hands.
Light fingers, yes.
Life lesson is what the knowledge, the greatest gift of all.
Exactly. And
The
with
best
that,
advantage.
and with that, we're gonna take a break. So when we last left off, we found our Jedi making their way back to their transport. And what I'm gonna say is, when our camera comes back, we see already sort of in motion, this ship moving across the stars. And we will find our way. Our camera will find its way sort of past one side and in through one of the windows to find the group of you. In sort of one of the like smaller empty rooms that the ship has. I think it's probably like a storage room that had been specifically held for y'all to be able to meet in. And as our camera comes back in, tell me what it is that we see from each of you in this room. What are y'all doing?
I think at some point, well, what's happening right off the hop is Wakesh is sending a transmission to the last known location of the Jedi who was killed, the Saber's original owner,
Bellamir Voldrick.
Bellamir Voldrick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Master Voldrick.
Sending a transmission to inquire about their status to their last known location, and then laying out their own kind of like looks at what evidence they've found.
I think Veldin is looking at Lumira. And he's simply going to ask the question, have you ever been caught?
Fine caught.
I mean, has everyone ever caught you stealing?
Yeah.
How did you react?
I ran. Ran is a probably hyperbolic term for it. I slipped away is the better way to put it. Running makes you look guilty.
Have you ever been cornered?
Yes.
And then what did you do?
Found a way out.
What sort of ways?
Whatever way was easiest. Up, down, through a tunnel, down an alley. Swapped clothes with some stranger. I don't know.
Interesting. And then he'll go back to doing something else. He'll turn and like open up a data pad and just kind of go back to doing his thing. He's gonna do the same thing, kind of scan the evidence. And
You always ask weird questions? Did that have a point?
yes.
Right. I forgot the ever mysterious ways of the Jedi Master.
Mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious.
Well,
Questions with questions.
questions with questions. I just simply wanted to know how you react if you were caught or cornered.
What does it matter?
Oh, I think it matters a great deal. Sometimes when people's things are taken, they can become quite angry. They can lash out. And how you react to that says something about you.
That's true. It's a good point. How do you react when your things are taken?
Well, pie is usually my go-to. I have a fondness for pie. It's quite comforting.
So if someone were to steal something valuable from you, you would eat?
Oh, yes. Then I'd go get it back, but there would definitely be some pie involved.
Okay.
Although the only thing that I might be concerned that they might take would be my lightsaber. And if they do, I have another.
She definitely looks like surprised at that, like a backup lightsaber is not something she was expecting him to say. I've got a backup. I was like, oh, okay. Does everybody have a backup? Like, she's like, is that something I should know? Like, am I supposed to have a backup? Like, mine barely works.
I think Wakesh just is this all happening in the same room, kind of as they're compiling?
Yeah.
Wakesh kind of just like silently nodding alongside with Valda. It's just like
Do you have a backup?
I wouldn't have a backup.
I don't have a backup.
I don't have a backup either. Is this like a when we like graduate thing? Do we get a backup one? Is that like a new? They didn't tell me about that. Am I supposed to know about that?
Not everyone.
Do I have to build another one?
You can,
Maybe.
Like, what do you feel you should do?
Well, now I feel like I should have a backup.
It's a very personal choice. It depends on what you would like.
Dude, do you feel like you should have a backup now? Because I feel like I should have a backup.
I don't know that I should have the first one, so no.
Lumira, if I might pry, what to you is important? He's not looking at her. He's looking at the work. It's casual.
I don't know anymore.
Did you know at another time?
I thought it was just like surviving. Just making it through the next week, the next month, the next year.
So security.
I don't
It adds into that.
I wouldn't call it security. I've never been one to care much about feeling secure just living.
But did you like the knowledge that you knew where your next meal was going to come from? That you had the ability to pay for what you needed to survive?
I liked the thrill of knowing that I could not have my next meal.
Interesting.
I don't think it bothered me so much that I might not have another one. I really think that it was just living is all I cared about. I still care about it, but it's a lot easier to do now that, you know, the temple provides, or whatever Master Wakesh said.
I think when you say master, you see him like choke up for a second. He's still getting used to that. Not choke up, but he's like,
Weird.
I would also say in the midst of the conversation, Nu Ten would be well aware by this point that that Valden has a lightsaber and a light foil with a thinner blade, and that depending on the disposition that he's in, if it's ever required, that if he's going to be more offensive, he's going to draw the lightsaber, and if he's going to be more defensive, he's going to draw the light foil.
Newton, what matters to you?
I suppose to develop my skills, to get stronger, to be more connected with to grow with the Force. And we'll like kind of turn off the translator for a second.
To be connected with something or someone who knows me. I think.
He stops and looks up there. He goes, right, so connection. It's admirable.
A part wants to be more.
Turns the translator back on. There is a part of me that wants to be more than I am.
Valden is going to say in Jawa, "You are not alone, my Padawan." And I assume, just in my thinking, that the Jawa language has a word for alone that sort of describes, in the vastness of Tatooine, that kind of alone in being out in the middle of the desert, where not only can you not, like, are you alone, but you are just so far out that, like, there's no living thing other than you. And that's the version of alone he's going to use.
I think she hears that and like the shoulders kind of shrink down, and she has this mask on, so you can't really tell necessarily the like a fallen expression, but you can see it in the form, because she knows that word so deeply, and I think when she hears you say it, it almost solidifies the reality of that for her. And she will turn off her translator and speak in Jawa back. I felt that for so long, and I don't know how to escape that. And hold other beings.
Valden will just nod and just kind of gesture at everyone that's here and just kind of signal, like, the collective and signal that we're all together.
And I think there's like a recognition of that in the way that she thinks about like the clan back home. And she uses a word in Jawa that describes that togetherness, and then says, I know this feeling of community, but even then, I feel it is a wall that I don't know how to cross. And even though I can see you on the other side, I can't touch you. And then she realized she's been speaking in Jawa for far too long and turns on her translator again and goes, so what does anyone else want?
I think Wakesh snapped, like, just like the paper stop and like the slow look up. It's like, oh, they're having a personal moment. And then like I'm guessing Veldin ordered dinner. Like, and so I guess he'll just go, I mean, whatever's available. I'm not picky.
Yes.
I love it.
Because
think-
she used like the tapping like for like the touch, right? Like, oh, what do you want?
Yes, what do you want? What is it you want here? Let me tell this.
Beautiful.
So good.
I think Nu, like, trying to divert attention from that is gonna like turn back to Lumira. Lumira first, and then over to Master Wei, and be like, your vision, and some of the feelings I've been having, and we should take out the comm. We should look at the comm.
Oh, correct. And Wei will reach into a fold of the temple armor and lay out the cloth and like gently unwrap it.
So over the table, Elsie just listened to the first dark side table.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this dude, is it the same? I think it's the same comm, where they took a comm, his comm, and switched it with their comm. So technically, this is the Sith comm.
In theory, if that is correct.
Looking from the audience perspective, is that like what we're looking at? Like, is that the okay?
Yeah, that was over the table. I was like,
Yeah, that was.
okay,
We're
like,
talking camera angles here.
No, yeah. I am being playfully coy, but like, yeah, 100%. That is exactly
Great.
what it is.
Is it always on? I'm just asking for, us, because we just had this whole fucking conversation in front of this. Calm.
So most of the time, if it is unmodified, you have to activate the comm in order for anything to be transmitted.
Okay.
If it is standard and hasn't been modified.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Not really, but I want to take the comm and be like, bitch. But not really. This is Elsie's. You're bitch. Anyways, that's not real. I just wanted to clarify that, yes, this is the Sith comm. Okay.
Amazing.
I have nothing in technology. I should, but I don't. My intelligence is 2.
Give me 2 seconds to
Around
quickly
it-
check something.
Just
We
in
have a
general.
Jawa here, so
Yeah. Yes. And around it in general, I just smell sweet rot, which kept coming up in my visions. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that.
Not right now. Just
Did I
you.
smell anything in the vision?
No.
Okay.
Actually, wait.
Fine,
Yes, you
force
did. I'm sorry.
smells.
You also smelled like a sweet rot in the vision.
That's what I
apologize.
thought.
You did.
Sweet rot.
Yes.
I know what that smells like now because of the ginkgo berries, and I'm upset about it. It's bad.
Yikes. But I think Nu would be like, wait, you smelled that in your vision as well?
There seem to be a lot of parallels between this and my vision.
Before we met you, I had a vision that I just kind of shouted at everyone earlier, so apologies for that, but to be more clear about it, there was, I believe I was trying to see into the future or see ahead, and I saw someone in the distance, and then at first it was warm and kind, and then it was very cold, and it washed over me, and there was a humming. At first I thought it was the engine room, but then it was louder and angrier and mad at me. I think because I found it. And then there was this sweet rot, and the hum was growing, and there was an outline, and then there was breath on the back of my neck, and then it was gone.
When was this?
But before we landed on Onderon, and so I was wondering, with your vision, if you felt that the hot voice was a good presence or a bad presence.
Does Newton say the hot voice?
If you have described it as the hot voice,
I did not describe that. Was that was LP. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Newton's out here reading romance novels, so like maybe.
I mean, it's true. If you would have hinted at it being an attractive sounding voice, that
Like, go off my Jawa bestie. If you want to describe it as the hot voice, you're gonna get a strange look
Newton
from
calling it
Lumira,
the
but
hot voice is giving me life.
Love
it's
it.
just like that's just what it is now, and we're just no names ever. It's just the hot voice. I don't care what you name it in the future line. It's just the hot voice now.
Excellent.
I was wondering, yes, the essence of it. What if you felt comforted or afraid?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Lion.
Yes.
I think yes. I think the answer was yes. It was a comfort, and then it was like panic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. There was something very like peaceful, and you felt like very right for a moment, and then just like everything dropped.
Yes. I think we all know the answer to that, Newton, and I'm having a difficult time trying to piece this together now because I thought that this was connected to the pieces of the paperwork that the scraps we put together with the darkness, and the comms obviously had something to do with that officer, but that was all on Onderon, and what you're describing was before you were there, before I was anywhere near all of you, and before we had even stumbled upon the pieces of the puzzle that we have put together so far. So how is it all connected?
Oh, it was before, but I was seeing forward, so maybe what I was seeing was what you were experiencing then, and that would be what I was seeing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Newton also saw two, at least dark figures.
Mm-hmm.
With red eyes.
Okay. So, Waykesh.
So there were two dark figures. They didn't have red eyes. There were red eyes behind them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Waykesh will simply lean back, and what he'll say is, well, Sith aren't necessarily planet-bound, if that's what it is, but it could be something manipulating the dark side to begin with. I'd hate to imagine that they're there, but the Jedi still lived, so it's entirely possible that there's a cult here or there still.
What reason, Master Way, would the Sith have to kill this historian, this professor?
Onderon is filled with battle of the Jedi and the Sith.
They could be looking for some item.
Relic, a weapon. They could simply have something that belonged to them that they wanted back, or that they believed belonged to them that they wanted back. Hell, they could have been hired. It could be just somebody manipulating the Force, or being manipulated by the Force to acquire something, and their presence has just left a mark. There are too many reasons to speculate the exact cause without much evidence. We don't want to lock ourselves down yet.
Indeed. Sometimes some kill simply for the joy of it.
Others for a twisted sense of what they believe is right.
But not to play into the advocacy of the other side. But you mentioned that what if it was something that they thought belonged to them, and maybe it did? Would they be in the wrong
Possibly.
to take it back if it didn't belong on Onderon to begin with?
I would.
Would they be wrong to take it back? No. Would they be wrong to murder in this way? Possibly, considering any gestures to the lightsaber. A Jedi Master was killed, possibly, to get this.
Possibly.
can't
Now
see-
you're speculating again.
I can't see that the fellow would have been a threat to someone who could have done this. So, would killing him to take back something been necessary?
Well, Master Wei and I, in talking with Ja Randar, did you know, we spoke about it before when we were conferring in brief, but did know that the professor was acting strangely and wanting to leave the planet for somewhere else, which I think with the visions perhaps we can make the presumption of going to this other place. Would there be a reason to not want the professor to go to a place? And
Do we still have that drawing? Okay. Where's the rubbing? Pull it out. I don't know.
I
who
think
has it.
Valden has it. I think I gave it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Oh, right.
I'll pull
Master
it out.
Valden didn't recognize what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
But-
pull it out.
Yeah.
he's
right.
he's eating. He's eating right now.
Yeah.
Get smudgy little hands all over.
Yeah.
Little bits of
Jeez.
bantha cheese sort of.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
No,
Little
not the
bantha cheese
bantha
dust.
cheese. Not the bantha cheese.
I think Master Valden can agree with me that looking at these images shows us exactly what we need to know about who is looking for this. Isn't that right, Master Valden? I'm sorry, I thought you knew what this was.
No, I do not.
This is Sith text.
Oh, wow.
Imagery.
That. That changes things.
He looks at Lumira and he goes, "This is what I mean by assuming. Can lead us in the wrong direction." But and he
Indeed.
pauses for a second and goes, "This is Sith imagery. Dead trees and the two."
I would like, Way, if you're looking at this, just the assembled pieces, I'm going to ask you to make me a roll. I would like you to roll me, let's call it lore.
Lore or education?
Mm,
Because his education
I
is
think
also,
you could do an education.
Yeah.
I think that's doable. for
specifically
sure.
just because his study is
Yeah.
Jedi Sith.
Yeah, no, 100%. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, you can roll me an education. You can include your boost die that you have.
Okay.
And we're going to say it is a 3 difficulty.
You've got this.
There's a good chance I do. I have pretty high in both lore and... Oh, that's a yellow, not a green. I have slightly better education than I do lore. Okay. 2 successes, 1 advantage.
Nice.
So as you're looking over this thing, I mean, like you said, you're very clear that this is some kind of Sith iconography. That's not surprising to you. It all sort of checks out.
It's disgusted as he's doing it.
The more time that you spend with it, the more that you start to notice symbols hidden throughout the image. Symbols that you pretty quickly recognize as Urkitat, the ancient forgotten language of the Sith.
Do I know any of what it says or recognize any of them?
Yes, in fact, looking at it for just another few minutes, you can put together that it seems to be instructions of some kind. In fact, it seems like it's instructions on how to go about safely making your way to the Demon Moon.
And he freezes. He goes, I am a fool. Okay. Let me double check this. And he looks it over 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
The imaging here, the text, the symbols. It's Urkatot. Are any of you familiar?
I've heard the name, but I don't know the language.
I know bits. It's more than I would care to know. It's instructions on how to get to the Demon Moon.
Well, that's not good.
No, especially if somebody else saw it.
How common is the Demon Moon, like in teachings of the Jedi Temple and things like that, or common knowledge in general?
I don't think it is really.
This is probably...
It's like the deep lore.
This is probably deep lore.
This is the
Waycash nerd stuff.
Okay. Demon Moon? What is it? What is a Demon Moon?
Probably a moon that's really bad.
I guessed that, but I thought I might gather more details.
So
how much?
How much information on the Demon Moon?
So here's what I'll tell you. You have seen this thing mentioned a number of times throughout different texts that you've read, Way. And Valden, I'd say you also probably have heard it once or twice. And Lumira, you've heard it exactly one time. Whether you remember that or not is entirely up to you. Lumira, you know very little. You don't really know anything specific about it, but the term has come up in your history before in a way that honestly should kind of make sense considering what you've been through since you've gotten here. Valden, you've heard this a handful of times, just sort of scattered throughout your time as a Jedi, going through like the ancient texts and like really doing the deep dives. It is something incredibly significant to the Sith Order, but besides that, you don't really know much more. Way. So you, as far as you know, the location of the Demon Moon, what moon it refers to out in the galaxy is completely unknown. You have no idea. But the Demon Moon itself is supposed to be a well of exceedingly powerful dark side energy. It is just a dark nexus. There are a lot of theories as to why, but it's where a number of Sith Lords have gone to sort of almost as a pilgrimage of sorts. It's where they've gone to strengthen themselves, to educate themselves, to make themselves more one with the dark side in order to ensure that they are able to continue doing the things they want to be doing. But no one knows where it is. Or they didn't. Until now.
There is a hiss of gas decompressing from his mask again. Kind of like allowing it to come out. And he says, it's another shortcut. Power that people cannot control.
A pace of power, then. place of power, then?
Essentially, it's a Sith pilgrimage where at the end they could pull from it. A number of the Sith Lord claim to have gone there. From what I read, it was mostly treated as metaphorical and what texts remain. And they are scattered. It's not widely covered. If there's one thing our predecessors did, it was effectively erase who these people were at one time. And
Yes.
allowed them to create a bastardization of themselves.
So it could be. She's kind of like trying to think through, and I think she starts to get into like Ja Randar, the mystery edition novel version. As she's like, so the Sith came here because the professor discovered the route to the demon moon, which they wanted. But why would they leave the rubbings unless they took the thing that the rubbings were rubbed from and have that in their possession to get to the demon moon?
Fairly large, right? Like it's like how many pieces of paper? We're looking at like standard A4. How large?
Like 2x4.
Well, if it's a rubbing, it's probably from somewhere. We know that the professor went to this place.
But why would the Sith leave the rubbings if that's what they need in order to find the moon, unless they had some other form of knowing that?
Why not go to the source? These are imperfect.
I can think of two reasons they might. One, something might have disturbed them, but it also very well could be a trap. Something to lure us in.
Or a way to get word out. Say we wanted to restore the Jedi Order today. We're the last 4 left. Where would you start? I can tell you where I would, with stories.
True.
Somewhere that needs hope, but also hope is attainable.
Yes.
Spread discourse on a planet that already has it. It's one possibility, but it's speculative. Did we get where the rubbings came from? Like, or we were hinted that it was off site, right? Like it was off planet.
So what you know is the rubbings were of most likely an object that had come from the museum.
Yes, okay.
Where it had been before that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we shift that around. This is only one piece. This is not a full story. This is just one thing. But imagine this was in a Sith temple, lost and then rediscovered. If it's a relic hunter, then that would be a prime site to go to.
That's perhaps why the professor wanted to go.
If this is one piece they brought back, yes. There's one thing museums are great at.
And if the Sith were the ones who killed the professor, and
I don't want to call
left,
them Sith yet, but I understand what you're getting at.
If the murderers who killed the professor it does feel like Master Veldon said that they left a blade, they left a saber, they left the rubbings, which are the instructions to get there, as you told us Master away. So it does feel
They want us to follow, yes.
We should not? Yes?
He looks to Lumira first and like hesitant, and then he looks to Master Valden. And sighs and goes, I think that we don't have a choice.
No, but we should be cautious.
Whoever they are, they're powerful.
Yes.
And we haven't been able to suss out any particularly noteworthy people from the cameras yet. The captain said he would get us back to any odd violent incidents, but from what we've gathered, there's a number of those.
Well, then we should have Lumira go first, and if they don't come back, then we know it's dangerous.
And
he just grins.
Wei looks off and he says, I know that you are joking, Master Valden, but respectfully, do not talk to my Padawan that way.
Fair enough.
It's a good idea.
Oh, trust me, I wouldn't put you in any danger.
That's
At
simply
least
not true.
Yeah. True. At least no danger you're not prepared for. At least hopefully not prepared for.
If I go, I'm taking Nu with me.
What?
And, well,
I mean,
that I think gets Wei a little bit. Just like
you would that would be a wise choice. She would be good to have at your back.
I don't think you understood what she was saying, but
Oh,
No,
I knew it.
I think
I knew what she was saying.
I took that in the way that you said if you were going to have Lumira killed, she was going to kill Nu.
Oh no, no,
In
no.
response.
I would never have her killed.
How did we get to this part of the conversation?
It is exactly as you asked that you you hear boom, boom, boom pounding at the door to the storage room.
The storage room?
Like the room that you're in.
Okay, yeah.
And then the panel like slides open. And one of the people who you recognize is one of the humans who works on the ship sort of pokes their head in and goes, so sorry to interrupt, Master Jedi. We are approaching and you're gonna want to see this. We need you on the deck.
Let's have a look then. Get up and follow.
Yeah.
But we also still haven't looked at the comms. I will follow after while he's saying this.
So, when you get to the deck, what you see ahead of you is a moon, the moon of Duxon, Onderon's only moon. But surrounding it are small, what look like were at one point large pieces of rubble and debris, rock, metal, and otherwise. But they've been sort of condensed, pulled together. And what you see is the vague outline of what can only be described as a face. And it sits between your ship and the planet. These harsh, stern eyes watching you, deep folds denoting some level of age. There's a crown placed upon its head with a round symbol sitting directly over the forehead with what looks like some sort of maybe a serpent. And it is just watching. And the captain looks over at you and goes, listen,
This is
I've
new.
seen I've seen a lot of things in my time. I have never seen a planet look back at someone. Now,
Captain, is it live?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
Okay.
Now, if you want,
What?
as long it doesn't seem to be messing with the ship at all, we can get you down there.
What better place to hide something than in plain sight?
Sure. Yep. Okay.
Hang on. And wait, while you're getting in position, I need to go. And he rushes back to where they had everything laid out and begins rapidly writing down the directions.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
y'all can take the scene while he does that, because it's probably going to take a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
If we think it's alive, should we ask it before you take us down there?
I'm still concerned about the whole taking us down there to the moon or to the head, because
I'm not
I guess
in charge.
I guess the question would be, how does one communicate with something like that?
Lumira, as this question is asked, for a moment you feel a hand on your shoulder again. It feels heavy and comforting, distressing. It's tough. You're not really sure. You feel cold. And again, you hear that voice. Sorry, again, you hear that hot voice. Got you. I've been waiting. Do not make me wait any longer.
Oh, these guys are the worst.
Come to me. Finally. And then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, if anything?
Nah.
Did Lumira just say that?
No, I'm not saying anything out loud. I'm not telling y'all shit.
Excellent.
I think. Are you making any kind of face? Like, what's your?
I think it's that neutral face that probably that you met them with, of trying to like gauge like what's going on and who to trust and who you are and whatnot. The very like neutral, contemplative face of like you can't really figure out what's going on in her head. But there was a moment, probably aligning with the time where the chill or the cold drop in temperature that like flooded through her happened, where her posture rights itself and she kind of like squares her shoulders and then just like freezes. But then after the voice is gone, momentarily, not immediately, it would relax, but no change in expression. Maybe a twitch, but nothing crazy.
We can't possibly be thinking about actually going down to a giant head in the sky, right? I mean, without knowing anything.
Knowing some things would be beneficial. Captain, are there any sorts of transmissions you can detect coming from that?
Listen, as far as any of the machinery goes, it's just another asteroid field. I sincerely am out of my depth here. Look, with respect, that mysticism stuff is like just right over my head. And then you hear an alarm go off. the klaxon rings through the entire ship. And he looks back down at the panel. He punches a few buttons. He pulls a lever. There is a moment where something begins to light up and then it peters out. And he like full on slams the console and starts just like throwing out a string of curses in a bunch of different languages as he like flips more switches. And then he looks back up and he goes, well, one way or another, looks like we're taking a trip. And you can feel the ship beginning to be drawn in towards the moon, in towards the face. And the mouth begins to open as though screaming as you approach. Way. So, you are moving as fast as you possibly can through this. And what you notice is that a lot of these instructions are telling you different angles of approach and different pieces of space that you will need to avoid as you make that approach. But the only bit of it that seems to line up with what you experienced out there, seeing out there, is a warning that if things do not progress as intended, then there will be no escape from the fury of the demon moon. And then you feel almost like jerked off your feet as the ship just like shakes and rattles around you.
He catches himself using the cane. And did he have enough time to like write everything down, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think it's probably kind of messy. I assume you're full on like yeah, but you can get it all down.
He kind of like looks at the paper and he like holds it or whatever he used to write it on. He's like,
sure, yeah, you have just
too
full
late
on
for this.
classic parchment.
Yeah, too late for this probably, based on that. But rushes back to.
Actually, I'm going to tell you one more thing. I apologize. I had a moment. So you do get one more piece of information. You get a name. One of the pieces of Urkatop that you translate expresses that this is the like I explained, the waypoint of a well of darkness that resides within the tomb of the Sith Lord Frida Nad.
Frida Nat?
Nad, N-A-D-D.
Okay, so I think what he will do, because I'm assuming there are like probably portcullises he can like look out of, more or less like a window, and he will like jam his hand against the window, and he doesn't want to, but he reaches out with the force towards it and asks if he is speaking with Frida Ned.
Do me a favor and roll me a force die. Just wait, what's your force rating?
1.
Yeah, roll me just 1 force die.
Yep. I need 1 bad roll today.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
There it is.
What do we got?
Oh!
And he'll push it. He'll allow the flip.
Oh, is it a dark side point?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
I think right now he's just, with all this, he's letting his anger slip, and there's nobody around to see him, so he's allowing himself to feel emotion.
Wei, I need something from you then.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me a memory of the first time that Wei got really angry and acted on it.
It's in the family library. He is 15, 16-ish, and the cane is beside him, and he is sitting at a table, and there is a branch of names connected together. His is at the bottom, and as he traces them up, he sees a name and he pauses for a second, and in a quiet hush he runs and grabs another tome, and he pulls it out, and he rapidly flips, and that image of the beings there with the trees in a layout, and he sees that same name, and he breathes heavily, and he grabs the cane, and with a quick twist, the once green saber ticks to orange as he slashes through the desk and the book with his family tree in it.
So you reach out, and you can feel that rage rolling off of you. And it feels good. You may not like it, but it feels good. And after a moment, you hear it. A hopeful.
And he pushes back, and all he says is a predator.
Where the last failed, perhaps greatness is still in our grasp. I will see you soon, and you will show me what a predator you are. And it's gone. Ahead of you, for those of you standing still on the deck of the ship, you can see as the mouth opens impossibly wide, as the ship passes through, and then piece by piece, rock and steel are stripped from the face and follow behind you like the tail of a comet. As the ship barrels down, breaching, and eventually slamming into the moon itself, rocking all of you, sending you tumbling. Anyone who would like to can attempt to make for me let's say an athletics brawn to try and stay standing. It's going to be a difficulty of 3. You do have a boost die.
Okay, let's go. What's the purple die situation on this?
Difficulty 3.
3? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
No.
Okay.
It all happens at the same time.
Yeah.
This makes sense. This
Wait,
makes
I'm
sense.
gonna need one from you.
Sorry, what's the roll again?
So it's an athletics brawn,
Oh fuck.
3
Like
difficulty,
3.
and you get a boost die.
No, we don't, because I just flipped the force.
Oh, you did.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Well,
that's
roll with
right.
it anyway. Everyone else did. It's totally fine.
Okay.
I was like, I'd take 2 failures.
Yeah, mine came up blank anyway. So.
I have 1 in athletics brawn.
Oh boy.
1 green.
Delightful.
Oh joy.
Oh my gosh.
and you actually
still
succeeded but
succeeded.
got threat.
You succeeded and got
While Nu Tu failed and got advantage.
amazing.
Based on circumstance, that feels appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So Lumira, Valden, the two of you managed to sort of hold tight and don't go tumbling. Nu, you do not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You are just. Yeah, why don't you describe it to me? Tell me what happens. What happens?
I think Nu is in a state of panic. Like, just like, is there a way to fix this? I think Nu is fully like where the captain's like smashing on things. Nu is like trying to get over there and be like, is there something I can do mechanically? And just totally getting in the way. I think I get jumbled up in the like that and smash my head on the like control panel or something. Yeah. Just
So
full
what I'm
on.
going to say is you do in fact you tumble out. You just about smash your head on the control panel, but I'm going to say with your advantages, you're just small enough
It's just short enough
that you come in right underneath. You end up sort of like you're going to need help getting pulled out, but you're just sort of like wedged under the control panel.
I tucked
Like
under
a bottle
there.
of pop that you dropped under your car seat.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
in a little hole. Just like 2 little yellow glowing orbs coming out from under the darkness. And yeah, I am petrified.
And way, you lose your footing, but manage to. You know what? You tell me how you managed to stay on your feet.
He's got his hand out, and what happens is that as he begins to fall, he leans into the saber cane and rolls himself back into a sitting position, almost like a meditative practice.
That's super cool. I love it, and it is this like I assume very graceful movement.
Yeah.
And then
Well, you know what? No, it's calculated because he doesn't fight using.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he fights using intellect.
That's great. Yeah, it's this very precise series of movements that land with you seated. And just as what I think could only be described as smug for as much as you can see smug with your mask, you are slammed in the side of the head by a like box that has fallen into the room. Do me a favor, take 1 wound.
1 wound.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Wound.
1 wound. I'm just double checking abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have like a thing that'll prevent, I'm super okay with that.
Yeah, adding strain. How does strain restore, by the way? Because I know that's easier to restore than wound, right?
Strain's super easy.
Yeah, strain gets restored when you have time to like rest, and you can also
You make a roll at the end of like any like encounter or combat to regain strain.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna parry because that reduces.
Heck yeah.
So we'll burn the 3 strain, and
Describe it.
I it just like the box comes and he just like basically just what's it called? The drawing technique with
Aijutsu?
with he just snaps it out and then reduces that. Like he just shears it as it's coming at him.
Awesome. Yeah, it just falls to either side of you. There's like a number of like children's toys, like little stuffed like rancors that sort of spill out from the box on either side. One of them, like, it lands just so, and the voice box goes off, and it's just like,
I'm going to have to apologize to the children. And he forces himself up.
And I think right here, with the ship buried in the dirt of this moon, with the group of you here, is our perfect place to end this week. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my amazing cast. Thank you to our wonderful chat for keeping things going. Before we do go bye-bye, we're going to take a minute, go around once more, so you can be reminded about who all these amazing people are, where you can find them, and what they're getting up to. And we're going to go in reverse order. So, Zach, why don't you start us off?
Hey everybody, my name is Zach. I am doing a couple of things and getting even more coming up soon. So if you enjoyed me here, you can find me next week on my channel, Astraceratops on Twitch, where I am going to be finishing up For Whom the Bell Tolled by Chris Hurterstrom, which is an Alien module. I absolutely brutalized poor Tal last week.
No, was that who went down?
Yeah,
damn.
He got a big old hole punched in his head. And but anyways, I take on the role of your mother in that game. So because that is the name of the GM in Alien.
Yes, it is.
So you can find me there on socials. You can find me on Threads and Blue Sky at Scheduled for Launch. And you can also check out some of the games that I've talked about on that podcast with the same name. Hopefully you're going to see a whole lot more of me real soon, because there's a number of things in the works, but we'll touch on that in the future.
Soon. All right. Who's next?
I think I was next,
Yep,
and then Elsie was
you're
next.
next.
Yeah, okay. Hey, everybody, I'm Katelynn. I played Newton tonight, and you can find me at this afternoon. And you can find me at KKENNEY Plays, Kenny Plays.
It's just automatic.
And yeah. Come check us out in a couple weeks' time, and check out next week to see what those folks are up to.
Yes, those folks.
Yeah, those folks.
They're called Not Jedi.
Not
Yeah,
Jedi.
not Jedi.
I call them
Not
my
Jedi.
chaos babies. Elsie.
Okay, it's me. Hi, I'm Elsie. I'm optimistic on all social media. I have been Lumira Sol tonight. I'm here, and where else am I? I am on Entropy Emporium every other Tuesday, not this coming Tuesday, but I think it's the 26th. Yes, the next one will be the 26th for They Call Us Villains. Everybody's tired of hearing me talk about this show, but I'm just having a really good time. We were dropped in ER now, ER, House, Grey's Anatomy, whatever. We've gone from, I don't know what the last one was. I think it was Scream. I'm not entirely sure. I got to kiss 2 boyfriends of my 3 boyfriends.
Yay.
Nice.
But I am dying. So I'm the patient. It's great. I have been the rest of the crew has to save me, and I'm not sure. They're not doctors. They're not doctors. So come watch us make a lot of mistakes. It's always fun there. It's very scary. So be wary of your triggers. Always watch with caution, and then I'll be back here. And then if you'll be at PAX, I'll be at PAX. I will have my megaphone, which got delivered. I'm so excited. Anyways, you'll clearly hear me before you see me, which isn't odd without the megaphone anyways. So that's me. And then I've got a couple other things coming up that I can't talk about yet because they're still in the works. But yeah, I had an amazing time today.
Stefan.
Hey, everybody. Stefan, you can find me on the Blue Skies and the Threads at Umbral Night X and Night with a K, and doing various things. I'm sure that Elsie will be fine. I'm sure that it will be a dream. Don't worry about it. And you'll find me doing all kinds of stuff in various places. Look for some stuff coming up. Got some plans in the works for Black History Month coming up. So hopefully we'll be making some announcements about some of those here in the not too distant future for some interesting things. Had a really, really grand thing with Body and Soul last year during Black History Month, and looking forward to put something together with that kind of energy this time around. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully, like I said, we'll be making some announcements soon.
Heck yeah. I guess that brings it back to me. Hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. I go by Lion. I am the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios. You can find me on most places at It's Drake Lionheart, except on Twitter, where you can find me at the Lion Knight 42, but really I won't be doing much on there. The only things that get posted there are things I'm bulk posting everywhere. So if you really want to check me out, go to the other places. You can also find me at TFTT Studios pretty much everywhere, because Tales from the Table Studios is too long for most social media. But not here, where we are, in fact, Tales from the Table Studios. And you can find me here running this game, and with more stuff to talk about in the near future. I'm very excited about that. I can't just yet, but we are inching closer. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, and you would like to follow these amazing people on socials, if you would like to see them on their other stuff and see what else they're doing, you just don't remember what they said in the video, or you want it in writing, or you want to come say hi to them, good news. There's a way to do that. You can join our Discord. The link is over in the chat now. Pop in, say hi. There's a bunch of amazing people. We have a channel devoted to all of our casts, so you can see who they are, what they're doing, where you can find them, and all that neat stuff. You can also come hang out with a bunch of amazing creatives, game designers, storytellers, players, writers, and more. It's a great community. We're always looking for more people. We're always happy to include you. It also means that you get the first look at any of our casting calls, any series that we have coming up, any of the games we run as events on the server, and any other events that we do. It's a great way to keep up to date, in touch, and have some fun while you do so. And I think that's everything I have to go over right now. It's weird sometimes, because you go from those, I have 15 projects, to being I have one. I have one project right now, and then you're always I'm missing something, but you're not. It's fine. Like I said, we'll have stuff to talk about in the coming weeks. It's going to be exciting, but for now, this has been phenomenal. Thank you again for all my amazing cast for being here. Thank you for everyone for sticking around, hanging out, and chat, and keeping it going. I am so excited for the next couple of weeks, because things are about to get truly unhinged, so you won't want to miss that. So until next time, remember, take care of yourself, love yourself, eat enough food, drink enough water, do the things that you gotta do. Very important. And always remember to tell your tales. Love you so much. Peace.